Yeah, I saw in the chat, get the lead out on a Monday morning. I love that. So good morning. Welcome to, sorry, one too many steps right here. Welcome to our Monday all call. I'm Kevin Rhines. I'm filling in. We're kind of in this session of Accelerate 90. We're going to rotate a little bit. And so you had Amy on the first leg of the Monday all call and Angela Paoli hosted last week. And I am here this week with you. I'm the VP of Agent Development and Broker Services. And I'm so excited to get rolling on our Monday all call this morning. So let's jump into it. We've got two fabulous guests lined up for today. We have the amazing Keri Cook Falls, managing broker with our Lake Forest office here with us this morning. Welcome, Keri. We also
Thank you.
have Lisa Rosengard from our Northbrook office. Both of them are roaring and ready to go on this Monday morning to share some fabulous things with all of you. But before we jump into it, I'm going to go through some programming for the week. Schedule for this week, you're here on this Monday all call. As always, once we get the recording back, we'll have everything posted for you guys along with the slide deck for everything. This week, starting tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday, Angela Paoli and Paul Blackburn are going to be hosting our Get What You're Worth for Buyers edition. This is all via Zoom. It is from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock on Tuesday and Wednesday. It is a phenomenal course. I've sat through a lot of the prep stuff that Paul and Angela have put together. It is an amazing course, exactly what we need with where we are in the world right now with buyers and changes post NAR. So if you haven't registered already, take a minute, scan the QR code, register for that, and be ready to go 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We also have coming next week, we begin our business planning. So the QR code you see on the right over here will take you to a Google Sheet. Go ahead and click. We set it up a little bit differently this year where we're giving you all your option to choose your location, your date, your time, so that there's no reason that everybody doesn't go through business planning this time around. It's going to be really, really great. Scan the QR code. First one starts on October 2nd in the North Shore. So go ahead and click and we'll get going on business planning. Expo. Those of you who were able to join us on our agent summits heard Mike, Thad, Amy talk about Expo and how amazing it's going to be. This is my first opportunity to go through Expo with At Properties. I'm really excited to be there. So go ahead, scan the QR code, register, join us because it's going to be a fabulous day. That is November 4th. And then Ninja installation. Last Monday, all call Angela talked a lot about Ninja and the power of the Ninja. Again, I haven't gone through Ninja installation. I'm going to be going through installation myself, November 12th through the 15th. So those of you who are interested in that, scan that QR code. It's going to be a phenomenal afternoon or week that week. Okay. And then we're wrapping up with following Amy Core on social media. I've heard from a lot of you on this. Amy's doing a really, really great job of kind of bolstering her social media accounts. This QR code will take you to her Instagram page to go ahead and follow her. She's doing a great job of making sure this is a platform for you all to stay up to date on upcoming events, coaching and training sessions, posts of the coffee with Amy and Kevin, all things at properties that are going on with us right now. So really follow it, share it on your social media. Let's grow the following, but make sure you're following Amy on social. Okay. All right, beautiful. I'm going to stop my screen share and welcome Keri and Lisa. Here we go. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to get going. We're going to start with you, Lisa, if you don't mind. You've been in real estate just about 7 years now, building a strong foundation for both your business and your team. During our prep call, we touched on how you've drawn from your previous career experiences to enhance your success in real estate. Can you share some of your past roles and how you leverage those to elevate your current career in real estate?
Sure. Great. Thank you for having me. I think everyone brings a little bit of something to any job that they bring, or that they begin with. And in my idea of what was next for me, because I was in marketing and advertising for over 25 years. I was in a very corporate setting. I never really worked for myself before. I led many teams. I hired people. I managed people. I built brands from inception to high growth. But learning to work for yourself within within walls, like at properties, I think took a lot of inward thinking And what I needed to do was leverage what I learned for over 25 years in working for big companies and utilize those skills in what we do every day in real estate. I certainly don't do it perfectly. I certainly don't feel like I'm good at it every day. But I know that every day I have to take a little bit of what I've learned in my past to help me accelerate in what I'm doing today in real estate. So, um, I worked for startups for many years, startups literally from inception to growth. So I understand the need to build on what you know and what you don't know. And I think in this business, especially in these last couple months, we're all learning new skills. We're all going back to the basics. We're all using um, a lot of our brain power to figure out how to excel through some changes. And I think that it doesn't matter what business you did before or if you've always done real estate. It's really all about understanding what your skill set is today and learning how to build upon it. Um, so I kind of use this mantra. I'm always learning new things. I'm always trying new things. Um, and I think I said this, but I I'm not perfect at it. I just know that I have to keep getting up every day and like pulling out what's in my bag of tricks and figuring out how to get to that next step.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, when we talked about it, it was you would use a line of know who your audience is, right? So know who your audience is, whether it was in your past experience in marketing and in sales or in real estate here. You mentioned in our call the other day about the power of designations and really knowing who your audience is and finding a designation or a platform that you can market directly to them. Can you share a little bit about that with the group?
Sure. I mean, really coming to the table and telling people that I've been in marketing and advertising for over 25 years, that works for 1 second. And then after that, I have to prove something else. And so I learned pretty quickly I better start getting some real estate designations. What I also know is that you have to be authentic in whatever you do. And so don't just go get a designation that doesn't really fit who you are. I found that I was working with a lot of seniors and I felt really comfortable working with them. I think my first one that I worked with was my mom, and that was really good. Um, and so I went out and I got my SRES designation, and I thought it really was a worthwhile couple days to sit there and listen to people. And you learn from other realtors, you learn from hearing what other people are doing or not doing. And so I think that was a great designation for me. And I continue to work with seniors, and it's been really helpful. And the other one is a luxury designation. And I did that probably in my second or third year. And I go back to it. I go back to my slides and I look at it, and it really does help you kind of stay a course and focus on what's most important. But having designations, I think, really sets you apart, and it gives you something to talk about and makes you more relevant to your clients, and letting them know that you're I say I've only been in real estate 7 years, but I have to turn that around and say I've been in real estate for over 7 years, and this is what I've done since then. um, I think that's really the nature of this is spinning what you have and making it very relevant to your clients.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think with marketing, excuse me, you want to appeal to the masses, right? As much as humanly possible. But when you're target marketing, which is the goal of all of us in real estate, right, is to who is my target audience? How can I speak directly to them? Having the designations are big, the SRES, the luxury. We talked a lot about the ABR designation, as we
I did
were
that too.
going
Sorry.
meeting. There you go. Perfect. So yeah, and so those are things that you can lean back on, right? When it's the right opportunity with the right target audience of people, we lean on those designations and that marketing. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. Let's jump over to Keri. Now that we're, I won't say, excuse me, past the NAR settlement stuff, but we're post August 17th. We've talked a lot about NAR and the rules and the regulation and the difference in how we're doing everything. And I think we all have a little bit of NAR fatigue, and we're going to try to keep these calls and conversations just towards you as a managing broker, Keri. You're dealing with NAR, you're dealing with all of that kind of stuff. But what is your primary focus with your brokers right now to keep
Yeah.
them on point, moving forward with things,
Yeah.
not worrying about the past or the changes
Sure.
and really focusing on the future. Can you share a little bit about what you're doing with your brokers that are most important these days?
Yeah. So I would say with this NAR settlement, we've done a lot of working in our business, right? We always talk about working in our business versus working on our business. The NAR settlement and all the change in paperwork has required us to work in our business and really learn those forms and understand how to present them. Now it's time to pivot again, take the focus a little bit off the NAR settlement because we've done massive training and I feel like we're over the big hump at this point. And getting back to working on our business. So what that means in anticipation of the upcoming business planning and all of that is really taking time to review before you do your business plan, do kind of a personal assessment, right? Review what's worked in your business, marketing, things like that. Create consistency around what works, and then maybe explore other possibilities. So, in order to do that, I am a big believer in time blocking and making lists. So, if you haven't time blocked, I would suggest time blocking around your marketing goals and all the things that you plan on doing, what has worked, your reach out, getting new clients. Because if we don't block the time, being independent contractors, you could have a whole day where you're busy but not focused, right? And it's important to stay focused. So if you take a week and you decide every Monday, you're going to every day in the early morning, do what's most difficult. And that's reaching out, right? Prospecting. No one likes to prospect. I mean, not many people do. It's hard, right? Get over it. Get over yourself. Time block prospecting for a half hour, set your timer. Get rid of all other distractions, do it. And if you don't get it done in the morning, then move it to another time later in the day, however that works, because you're still going to have to do it. And I just love the idea of getting back to basics because there's a lot of noise out there, right? And at the end of the day, we still have to figure out what marketing works for us, what as a company at Properties Christie's offers, which is a lot. There's a lot we can do that's available on the platform that is free, that's low cost, that has a lot of bang for your buck. I think the other thing in terms of getting back to basics is, it's been hard since COVID to get involved, get engaged, come back to the office. And I get it. Everyone set up their home office because they had to. But we have so many events as a company, whether that's your local office meeting, whether that's the regional meetings, expo, business planning coming up. Show up to those things. I notice the most successful agents, they're always there. They're at the events. It's a networking opportunity. It's a chance to meet other agents from other offices. I think that's about getting back to basics. And then maybe also consider sitting in some other offices, not just your own. They're open to all of us. They're set up in very similar ways. Everyone's very friendly. And you just need to get your face out there, like Lisa Foster just said.
I love
and make yourself known. And then once you get into that new location, stick to your plan.
Right.
Do some mingling, yeah, but stick to your plan. It's just so easy to get distracted. I am the worst at that. I have ADHD. I think that's why I'm part of the reason why I'm in this job. It naturally kind of works for me. But there are times when you're like, listen, my office door is shut. I let my office manager know and I drill down for an hour. I had to do that during the NAR just to learn everything, understand the nuance so I could go on and train. As agents, you have to do the same thing when you're getting ready to present to a seller, when you're understanding a new buyer coming online in your network, when you're networking, when you're prospecting. um, Focus. There is no such thing as multitask when you're trying to really master something.
No, I completely agree. I think, and I love the fact that we're having a conversation revolving around really business planning and growth, right? And I'm a big believer that you can't grow inside your comfort zone, right? Like you just can't. You have to push yourself past that. It's easy to stay in bed on a cold, gloomy day and stay under the covers, but you got to get your butt out of bed. You got to get moving, right? It's the same with prospecting or growing your business. You grow outside of your comfort zone when you put yourself in a position to do something that is not the norm for you.
Yes.
So let's shift back to Lisa. Lisa, again, on the business planning topic, I know you're a broker who believes in the value of having a plan in your business that you can follow and you hold yourself accountable to. Would you share how you approach, what your approach to business planning is and how it helps you stay laser focused on your business?
Sure. So, for me, when I first started when I came to App Properties, I just kind of did what I always did in marketing is create a plan. And it started off just being, this deck. I had like probably 10, 12 pages, and I built it based on how I built all my other business plans for over 20 something years. So I started to say I worked for startup companies where I was literally building brands. I worked for a high speed internet access company. I worked for CNA Insurance, which was 100-year-old brand, and we had to pare it back and build it back up. I worked for radio stations and television stations where we were building those brands. So I had a very different type of idea of how to build certain plans for certain businesses. But like I said, it started really big. And each year I kind of started paring it down into shorter excerpts. And truthfully, this is a plug to App Properties. I worked for some really big companies. I worked for Condé Nast. I worked for Ameritech here in Chicago. Um, I worked for Facebook. They don't mess around. Like you go into business planning and you put your head down and you're in business planning for like 3 months. And when you emerge, you have this amazing path to what you're going to build for the next year. And when that next year starts, it's like the gun goes off and you start running.
Yes.
So I think I had that in my blood as to like what I'm supposed to do. What makes it really hard, and everyone on this call probably knows what makes it really hard is staying on that path. Staying on that path when it's most of the time it's just you. So, I'm a big believer in what App Properties does. Some people may take little bits and pieces from the App Properties business planning. I go every year, I dive in. It makes me happy to do this. But truthfully, I step away from it and then I create what works for me because at the end of the day, you can't really retrofit yourself into a plan when you're all by yourself. You need to make sure that whatever you're doing is going to fit your needs. So, my big plan that was like 10 pages long and a deck, I recognized that I wasn't really working the plan as well as I could. And so, over these last couple years, I still do build my deck, I still build my plan. It incorporates my the basics, like what are my tactics? What are my goals? What are my tactics? How am I getting there? How much money am I putting towards each of my things? And I kind of get to the nitty gritty. It's really important that you understand like how much money you're spending on each of the things that you're doing, from the postcard to the postage, because a lot of people forget that. That's really important. And then I kind of call it into one page. I have a one pager and I tack it up on my bulletin board. A couple years ago, Keri gave me great advice is just put that plan everywhere so that you see it. So one year I laminated it and I had it in my car. I put it in my glove box. So I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But what really helped is when we got, hunkered down during COVID, I did have it in front of me in my office space at home. I still do. I have one in front of me. Um, and I think that really has helped me that it's on one page, and that one page is really broken down into quarters. So it's not easy. I don't do it perfectly. I know that there's days where I have to like strap myself in and sit down at my desk and really work it. But when you are thinking about a full plan, it does encompass 4 quarters. I live and die by quarters. That's how I've always done business. And so if you are marching towards Q1 and you have a plan, and then Q1 is over and you didn't finish that part of the plan, you need to readjust and focus on your next quarter. And if you do that, then you can break it down, from your quarter to your month to your weeks to your days. And it really does start that way. So I know that everyone talks about this. Ninja is something that I did when I started. Um, it was something that I did in corporate media, just in a different name. But when you do the simple things, when you do the small little things, it does snowball and help you into doing your big things.
Right.
Absolutely.
No, I love that. I love the idea of, and Mike Golden talks a lot about it, the power of a business plan, right? And so come to the business planning. We've done a lot of work on the coaching and training side of trying to put together the best plan that you can possibly have to follow. But it is a guide. And that's what I love about what Lisa said, is that you're all independent contractors, right? There's thousands of brokers who work for properties. You guys all do your business a little bit differently. You need to be able to take it, tweak it, and work it to a way that is genuine to you. You're more likely to follow your plan than a plan that somebody else gives you, right? But don't come to business planning. Don't do the work on the business planning and then put it in your drawer and not look at it. What you had talked about with breaking it from setting my annual goal of production, right? Because that's typically what we do. What's my production goal? And then you break it down where I have my annual goal that I'm constantly working towards, but I break that down to now, how do I do that in a quarter? What's my goal for my Q1 rolling into 2, 3, and 4, right? And the challenge with an annual business plan is typically by the time you get to October, November, you know whether you hit your goal or you didn't. Right. And so for a lot of people, if they've hit that goal, then they tend to coast the remainder of the year, or flip it the other way around, where if I don't hit my goal, I'm discouraged about it. Those quarterly goals really help you stay laser focused on what you need to do during that period. There's a really great book I used to do a lot of coaching around this book. It's called The 12-Week Year. It is about the power of incorporating an annual business plan and then breaking it down into quarters. But the beauty of a business plan, and the best way to stay accountable to the business plan, is a scoreboard, right? And that's what Keri and Lisa were talking about, where if I plaster up what my goals are and I'm holding myself accountable where it's in front of me all the time. Put yourself at any sporting event. Everybody always stares at the scoreboard. How much time is left? How many points do we have on the board? How much are we trailing by? That's what should motivate you and keep you accountable. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm going to jump back to Keri a little bit. Keri, I know you do a ton of coaching with your brokers. When it comes to, we're talking about business planning, when it comes to prospecting or marketing plans or those kinds of things, a lot of the challenge for brokers is we offer so much, whether it's at properties or the tools that we offer. But what do you think is most important to just get started on a business plan?
Yeah, I love what Lisa said. So the business plan that we offer, it's a great way to kind of assess what you're doing. But what Lisa did, and what I recommend every agent do, and that's part of the struggle, is agents are like, okay, so what format should I use? Do the business planning we offer, then distill it into a format that works for you. And this is something I'm going to work with my agents on in my roundtables coming up, getting away from NAR. So do our entire business plan, but then have a 1-pager. This is what I would recommend. A 1-page business plan. I love the idea of breaking it out into quarters. What's your goal and how you're going to get there for each quarter, right? Then keep an Excel spreadsheet of your expenses and your timing. So maybe list all of your marketing prospecting initiatives on one side, and across the top, organize it by month, right? So you can track how many times you advertise, how much it costs. And then that's what I would start with. And then I would also include the third piece would be a calendar. Print a calendar Sunday to Monday. And you're going to time block Sunday through Monday, right? So maybe you do 2 open houses on a Sunday, and Monday morning you do the Accelerate90, and then right after that you do an hour of prospecting. And then you might do social media on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and block all of that in a calendar and make that a part of your 3-document phase or process. And then, like Lisa said, if you don't see it, you're not going to do it. So don't stick it in a file somewhere on your computer or on your desk. Paste it, put it up in your office, in your car, whatever works to remind you of what you have to do, because we all get caught up in our day, you know, and we're all guilty of it, and our job demands it, right? You know, you're getting requested to do a pricing, a showing, yada, yada. You always have to come back to you and what you need. Your system and process and your optimism is what's going to save the day, no matter how much is going on, you know, and you need that to recenter, right? To re-engage with your initial plan, because at the end of the day, everybody will be happier. Your clients, your family, yourself, right? If you feel organized and intentional, that's going to carry through with everything else.
I love it. You guys are awesome. There's so many good things to peel away from here. Yeah, I mean, I would say, Keri and I, we talked about this on our prep call. The big challenge for brokers, and when I sold, it was a challenge for me. When I was managing, it was the number one thing that brokers would come to me and struggle with, which was we offer as a company so many different things, whether it's in marketing or different things that we want to implement into our business in Q4 of 24 or rolling into 25. The challenge is how do we get started? And one of the things we talked about in that is it really does take about 3 weeks to either break a habit or create a habit. Right. And so if I need to implement, if I have a strategy for my business that I want to implement, don't take on too much right away. Really break it down into, here's the list of the things I want to implement into my business. What's the number one priority? That's the one I'm going to start with. And I'm going to get that system going. I'm going to do that right out of the gate. I'm going to take 2-3 weeks so that system's going and I have my processes in place so I can continue to do that throughout time. And then I can introduce the next one. Right.
So important. I just want to add, set the bar low for yourself. There's so much. Do the things that feel organic to you first. Like social media, master 1. You don't have to master 3. Master 1. Our marketing tools, master 1 on the platform. You don't have to master all of them. Otherwise, you end up in inertia. You're like motion, but nothing's happening, right? And it's easy to do. Anyway.
No, that's fantastic. And believe it or not, it's 9:30. So we're going to wrap the call today like we always do on all of our Monday all calls. I'm going to ask Keri, Lisa for some keywords of motivation to send us off. Keri, why don't we kick it off with you? If you had some motivation.
Try to be the optimist with the plan, even if it's daily plan, you can achieve optimism and that'll carry you forth.
Optimism. Love it. Lisa, how about you?
I like this saying, when you do nothing, nothing happens. So do something today.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, thank you both, Keri, Lisa. I can't thank you enough. This was a great call. So many nuggets and pieces of information out there. Thank you all this morning for jumping on. We will get this posted for you. Register for all of our upcoming programming. I will post the slide deck in there so you guys have all the QR codes. Have a fabulous rest of the week, and we will see you soon.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.